Welcome to the explainer. So, you've got a sudden burst pipe or a flood here in the Tampa Bay area. Panic mode, right? Well, take a breath. Today, we're unpacking a high-stakes, practical survival guide. Think of this as your step-by-step action plan, literally designed to save your home's structural integrity, your wallet, and honestly, your health following water damage. Let's get into it. Now, right out of the gate, we have to start with a ticking clock. Because here's one of the most shocking takeaways we found. Under the right conditions in Tampa, hidden mold spores, which, by the way, are naturally present in literally every indoor environment, can begin germinating and forming visible colonies in as little as 24 to 48 hours. Yeah, you heard that right, 1 to 2 days. When floodwater invades your home, what you're seeing on the floor, that isn't actually your biggest problem. It's the invisible moisture sinking deep into your walls and subfloors. To untangle this mess, we've put together a clear roadmap. We'll be covering the 48-hour mold clock, Step 1 for DIY documentation, Step 2 on hiring the right assessor, Step 3, which is the professional inspection process, and finally, protecting your insurance claim. Easy enough, right? All right, Section 1, the 48-hour mold clock. Let's dive right into exactly why Tampa operates as, well, a literal mold incubator. So Tampa's climate is officially humid subtropical, which, as any local will tell you, just means you're usually sweating the second you step outside. But with an average humidity of 74%, this area provides the absolute perfect storm for mold. Mold absolutely thrives between 77 and 86 degrees Fahrenheit, especially when humidity levels jump above 60%. Unlike drier climates where floodwater just kind of evaporates quickly, Tampa's ambient humidity means moisture is continuously fed right back into your building materials. And yes, that happens even long after the standing water is totally gone and you've got the fans running. And here is where time becomes your absolute worst financial enemy. Just look at this breakdown. If you act within the first 48 hours, you might be able to keep remediation costs somewhere between, say, $1,200 and $2,500. Not fun, but manageable. But watch what happens if you wait. By month 3, structural compromise and HVAC contamination can inflate that cost up to a catastrophic $30,000, or even more. The financial penalty for waiting is quite frankly severe. We are talking about the price of a brand new car just because you waited. Okay, moving on to Step 1, DIY documentation. You absolutely need to act immediately, way before the professionals even show up at your door. First things first, you've got to use your senses. Check for musty or earthy odors. Believe it or not, these smells are actually microbial volatile organic compounds released by mold colonies before you can even see them. It's like an early warning alarm. Next, deliberately check along the bottom foot of every single wall and inside your closets. Finally, pull out your smartphone and photograph everything, literally everything. Take pictures of water lines on the walls, stained drywall, the whole shebang. You are doing this to establish an undeniable timeline for your insurance company. You need to prove exactly when the damage occurred. Now, inevitably, while you're doing this DIY check, you might spot some dark marks and think to yourself, hey, can I just grab a bottle of bleach, kill this mold right now, and save myself a massive headache? Emphatically, no. Please do not do this. This is one of the most surprising and honestly disastrous myths out there. While bleach might clear surface stains on your bathroom tile, it does not penetrate porous materials like drywall or wood. Instead, the water component inside the bleach actually feeds the hidden mold deeper inside. You're basically giving it a drink. Plus, scrubbing it with bleach alters the surface mold load. Why does that matter? Because it can completely compromise the crucial lab samples your inspector needs to take later to validate your insurance claim. So that brings us to Step 2, hiring an assessor. And here, we really need to navigate some very specific Florida licensing laws. The absolutely crucial point here is understanding the legal difference between an assessor and a remediator. Think of it like this. The assessor is the doctor giving you the diagnosis, and the remediator is the surgeon actually performing the treatment. Under Florida statute, a licensed mold assessor is legally prohibited from performing the remediation on the exact same property within 12 months of the assessment if the mold area is over 10 square feet. This law is brilliant because it strictly prevents a massive conflict of interest. It ensures no one is just inventing a problem so they can charge you thousands of dollars to fix it. Because of this, before you let anyone inspect your home, you must verify 2 things. First, they absolutely must hold a valid Florida mold assessor license from the DBPR. You can and should verify this online. Second, confirm that they use an American Industrial Hygiene Association or AIHA accredited third-party lab.
Listen, if an inspector wants to use some in-house lab or they can't produce their DBPR license number on the spot, you walk away immediately. No questions asked.
All right, step 3, the inspection process. Let's talk about revealing the unseen danger. When you hire a pro, they aren't just going to walk in and shine a flashlight around. They utilize advanced pin and pinless moisture meters that literally read moisture inside the wood and drywall without tearing your house apart. Fun fact, a reading above 17% in wood means mold is highly likely even if that wood looks bone dry to your naked eye. Wild, right? They're also going to draw indoor air through specialized collection cassettes to measure exact spore counts and compare them against an outdoor baseline. And we care deeply about those spore counts because of the severe health stakes involved here. Once these colonies establish, they start releasing spores and toxic compounds known as mycotoxins. This degrades your indoor air quality incredibly fast. The most vulnerable groups, we're talking children, elderly adults, pregnant women, and anyone dealing with asthma, COPD, or a weakened immune system. Honestly, what might just feel like a lingering, annoying post-storm cold to you could very well be a respiratory reaction to unseen mold growing in your walls. Which brings us to our final section, protecting your claim. This is all about building your financial shield. Take a look at this. Standard homeowner policies usually contain language stating that mold damage not promptly reported may be excluded from coverage. This phrasing exists specifically to hand your insurer a basis for denying your claim if you drag your feet. If you try to just wait out the drawing process and ignore getting a proper inspection, the insurance company can legally argue that the resulting mold was caused by your long-term neglect rather than the initial flood event itself. And just like that, you're on the hook. Getting a professional mold inspection creates a time-stamped, lab-backed document. It objectively proves your timeline and defines the exact scope of work for the remediators, which completely prevents those shady, costly mid-project negotiations. Usually, an inspection like this is going to run you between $350 and $600. Now, I know that's not pocket change, but when you consider the tens of thousands of dollars at stake in a denied insurance claim, this initial assessment fee is, hands down, the best investment you can make in your entire recovery process. So here's the bottom line. When water damage strikes in a humid, sticky climate like Tampa's, that 48-hour clock starts ticking immediately. The question is, will you wait, just crossing your fingers and hoping things simply dry out while risking a massive $30,000 restoration bill? Or will you act today, take control, and protect your home? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and stay safe out there.